Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast, where we discuss all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. My name is Yvonne Ellis. I'm an empowerment speaker, author, coach, trainer and founder of Yumi Empowerment, a company that facilitates the empowerment of people. I help people to make positive life change, live in their purpose and develop into their best version of self. I share stories, interviews, spiritual encouragement and actionable tips to empower, encourage and inspire you to live the life you want. So if you want to live the empowered life, join me each week on my podcast so we can take the journey together. Hello Empowered Lifers, welcome to episode 118 of Living the Empowered Life podcast. My name is Yvonne and I am your host. And this podcast is all about bringing you content that's empowering, encouraging and inspiring. And today, guys, is the first episode of 2026. So happy new year to you. I know they say there's a time limit on wishing people happy new year. I think they say the first 7 days, but I'm going to ignore all that and wish you happy new year anyway, because it is a new year and it is 2026. And it has been a chaotic start to the new year for me. But nevertheless, I'm back with another episode of the podcast. And I have to apologise, first of all, guys, because December 31st wrap-up just didn't happen this year. I just completely run out of time. And one of the biggest lessons I think I've learned for 2025 is to manage my time a little bit better, even though I'm really busy. Saying that I am going to commit to do something and I don't do it is worse than actually not doing it. So I'm going to work on that for 2026. So guys, I hope that you are able to take a little bit of a break during the Christmas period. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope that you are able to have a little bit of rest, a little bit of time to yourself, spend time with your family, loved ones and all that good stuff. I had some time to be able to do that myself. And I really needed it. There was one day I didn't get out of my pajamas for the whole day. And there was other days, like 2 days I had where I slept till like 10, 11 o'clock in the day, which is absolutely, a rarity for me because I'm always up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Even when I say that I'm having a lie-in, I usually get up at 7:45 or something like that. So for me, it was nice to be able to just let it all go. Spent some time, as I said, with family. I cooked, I did some things, had some time to read. I'm still working on the puzzle. I started this puzzle on, I think, Christmas Eve, and I still haven't been able to finish it because of all the other little things that I had to do. But I am recharged and focused for a new year. So as we go into the new year, I thought it would be a good idea in 2026 to share with you 5 ways to make your life easier. And before I do that, I just want to share with you a couple of quotes. So the first quote I want to share with you says, "Everything in life is easier when you don't concern yourself with what everybody else is doing." I think this quote is absolutely perfect for the time that we are living in, because so many people are so concerned with what's going on in other people's lives, their relationships, their finances and stuff. They're not spending as much time and energy focusing on their own life. And this is a huge problem within society today. And I think that is a word of wisdom. Focus on your own life and stop worrying about other people's, if that is what you are doing. And that quote was by hplyricks.com. So the second quote is by George Eliot. It says, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." I think that is a true quote. As long as you have breath in your body, motivation, determination, and with faith in God, it is never too late. So in this episode, 2026, 5 ways to make your life easier, I just wanted to share some things with you that I am going to be personally doing myself this year. As I just shared in one of those quotes, a lot of people wonder why they don't have time to invest in their lives, to change their lives and do things differently. And one of the main reasons is a lot of people spend their time too preoccupied with other people's lives. It's actually a really kind of worrying trend I see a lot in society, where people are using other people's misery, unfortunate circumstances, downfall as entertainment. A lot of people are using other people's problems and lives as a form of escapism. And, instead of focusing on their lives, they're focusing on other people's lives. And one of the things I've realized about living an empowered life is that you have to be intentional in your focus. You have to focus on what you want. Every other thing can be a distraction. I experienced some of this in 2025 when I was a bit stressed and stuff. I'd be scrolling on social media, on TikTok and different things like that. And when I sat back and reflected on the end of the year, why I hadn't read as much books as I did the year before, I realised that those little times of going on social media, being distracted by different things, were the reason why I didn't get to complete as many books as I would have liked in 2025. Now, I'm not somebody who sits down and watches a lot of TV. As a matter of fact, for the first time in probably a year, maybe, me and my husband sat down together over the period of the last couple of months, in the evenings, like 2 or 3 evenings a week, watching a series that was on Apple TV, I think, but it was really, really good, called Severance. I really liked it, and we watched those 2 full series of that show, and that was nice because obviously that's just us spending that time together. But apart from that, I've not had any time to sit down and watch TV, nor do I want to spend a lot of time sitting down and watch TV because there's things that I can be doing. So 2026 is all about being more intentional with my time. If you are wondering why you weren't able to achieve some of your goals or different things that you want to do in 2025 and wondering where the time went, it could be to do with some of the things that maybe you were focusing on that wasn't as important. So I am going to share these 5 little tips with you, and these are things I'm going to be doing in 2025. So I encourage you to have a look at them as well, because what we all want to do is to live an empowered life and to make the most of our life and our time. So the first thing I want to share with you is decide what you want. This is one of the things that's going to make your life easier. What is it you want out of 2026? Now, this doesn't have to be a whole list of things. It can just be one particular thing that you want to focus on for 2026. You have to decide what you want. One of the worst things to do is to go into a new year not having a focus or a goal or a vision of what it is you want to achieve in the year. Because when you don't have that, you will find that you're just drifting all over the place. You haven't got a focus to focus on. You haven't got something that you're aiming for. You haven't got something that's going to motivate you on to do your best for the year. So you have to decide what you want for this year. And I would encourage you to write that down. I would encourage you, besides writing down, deciding what you want, why you want it. You have to keep the why at the center as well. This is going to be one of the things that's going to make your life easier, because you will have that set focus of the thing that you want to achieve for the year. The second thing that is going to make your life easier in 2026 is being organized. I've shared on many podcast episodes how I like to keep myself organized. I use things like my daily planner, my diary. I make to-do lists. I, make sure that I have a plan of the things that I want to do, and then I kind of stick to that plan. Being organized is what's going to help to make your life easier in 2026. I have seen people who are not organized at all. They don't value time, they're not organized, and then when it comes to meetings or doing things that are really important, they're all over the place. They can't find their diary, they forgot what time things were, they're running late and all this type of stuff. Being organized is one of the things that's going to help you if you have trouble, getting yourself together. Being organized is one of the things that's going to help you in 2026. There are different planners and different things that you can do to help yourself be organized. For me, I don't know where I would be without my diary. I don't commit to any meetings or consultancy work or coaching work or anything that I'm doing without first looking at my diary. Even if I don't have my diary on me, I will, if somebody wants me to confirm a date and time, I, say I have to get back to you later on because I need to have a look and see what else is going on that day. Find different things that will help you to organize your day, and you will find that it will help you in the long run to organize different areas of your life as well. So this is going to sound really strange to people when I say this is one of the ways in 2026 that is going to help to make your life easier, and that is to be positive. I don't know if people understand how much energy it takes to be a negative, complaining person. There are people out here, and I used to work with some people like this, who were always negative and always complaining. There was a small period in my life as well, when things weren't going right for me, where I was negative and complaining. And it really drained my energy. And listening to people who are negative and always complaining is also very draining. If you want to make your life easier in 2026, rather than complain, if you're a complainer, rather than be negative, if you're somebody who's negative, try and find positive solutions to the challenges you face. Being negative, complaining, is not going to change the situation. You have to decide that even though it's inconvenient, annoying, really stressing you out, that I am going to find a positive solution that's going to help me to move forward. I have known people who are in jobs. They've been in jobs for like 20 years and they're still complaining about the same job. They are awful to be around. They, bring a very heavy and negative influence to the atmosphere, and they never get anything done that is positive. I want to encourage you, if you want to make the most of your time in 2026, look for solutions to the little challenges that you face. And yes, you might not have the overall answer to that challenge, right there in the here and now, or in the here and now, but you can work towards resolving it. So I would encourage you to be positive. Look for the positive in situations. If you can't look for the positive in situations, look for the positives in life. Have an attitude of thankfulness, gratefulness, thinking, okay, I'm not appreciating being in this situation right now, but I'm thankful that I'm able to, look at different solutions to try and see how I can come out of it. However you do it, try and be positive. No complaining, no negativity, because that is what's going to take up a lot of your time in 2026. You will find when you're negative and complaining all the time, you will have less time to focus on positive outcomes for your life. Now, there have been seasons in my life, my past life, where I have got myself into debt and I have spent on things that I shouldn't have spent on. And what happened is that it would set me back from the plans that I had planned to do things with my money. I've learned the hard way that, spending what you don't have is going to set back your future plans. Whatever, you're saving for, whatever things you want to work towards, whatever things you want to invest your money in, when you spend what you don't have, it will set you back. And one of the things that I realized, and I realized a lot of other people had gone through this as well, when you are feeling hopeless about a situation, when you are feeling that the things that you are aiming for, which are huge things that may take a lot of time and money, are feeling like they're not attainable, that is where people, spend what they don't have. I found that in my circumstance as well. I had to learn, and I'm still learning, to delay self-gratification. So, you don't want to detour or derail your plans. In 2026, don't spend what you don't have. And in doing that, you'll avoid debt. And in doing that, you won't delay the plans that you may have, whether that could be buying a car, buying a home, investing in your business, in saving, whatever it is. This is one of the things that is going to help you in 2026 to make your life easier. And the last thing I want to share with you is to be intentional. I touched upon this at the beginning of the episode. You have to be intentional with your life. Life is given to each and every one of us by the Lord God, and believe it or not, we're all going to have to give an account when we pass away for what we did with our time in our life. A lot of people don't take their life seriously. They're not intentional about how they live their life. They're not focused, they're not organised, and haven't decided what they want, and they just go through life just gliding along. And I remember on an episode of a podcast I did way back about, regrets people had in life, when I read a blog by Bronnie Ware, who was a hospice nurse. And I actually bought her book about 2 months ago in a charity shop. The whole book, not just, because that episode was based on a blog about the top 5 regrets. One of the things that people said is that they regret wasting time with their life. None of us want to regret the time that God has given us with our life. We need to take our lives more seriously. And one of the ways we can do that is to be intentional with our life, our time, how we spend it, what we do with the resources we have, how we work through our lives, how we make the most of every day of experiences and stuff. You have to be intentional and focused about the people you spend time with, the relationships you get yourself into, the friendships that you have. Every single area of your life, you have to learn to be intentional. And it does take time. It's not something that happens overnight. But one of the biggest ways you can learn to be intentional with your life is looking at your goals, your dreams, the things you want for your life. Sit down, think about what it is you want for your life. And then the things that you have in your life now, you can just simply ask yourself, are these things helping me or hindering me from my intentions for my life? That's one of the things that really helped me. It helped me to remove people from my life. It helped me to get really focused and clear about my goals. It helped me to be motivated and inspired to keep focused on, where I was going. Being intentional with your life starts from how you look at those things. And that in 2026 is one of the things that is going to help to make your life easier. So I would encourage you to look at what it is you want for your life, look at all the different areas of your life, write it down, and then look at your life how it is now and work out, is these things helping me to live my intentional life, or are they pulling me away? I would recommend doing that because that is a great way to get focused and clear on what you want. So guys, I just wanted to share those little 5 tips to help to make your life easier in 2026. I think if we can all learn to not make our lives complicated by overcomplicating it with things that are not in line with our purpose, our vision, our calling, and our goals and dreams in life, then it's going to make our lives easier. I'm going to drop the episode and I want you to tell me one thing that you are going to do in 2026 to make your life easier. So as we finish this episode, I want to just share with you a quick Bible scripture that I think is very fitting actually, because I was talking about the whole thing in the beginning about how people take their time to always, be focused on other people's lives and not focused on their own. Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business and to work with your hands just as we told you. Now that is a Bible scripture to live by. God has given us our own lives to mind, and we need to be minding what we're doing in our own lives and finding out ways that we can empower ourselves to lead the best life that we can. We do that through God. We do that through the resources that He's given us, the skills, the talents, experiences, all the different things He gives us. We mind our lives and tend to our lives so that we can live the very best life that we can live. And, this is so important as we go into 2026. Let us all mind our own lives, find ways to make our lives easier as we go towards our goals and dreams by being intentional, by being organised, focused on all the things that I talked about. And let's just have a great year. So that is it, guys, for this episode. Remember to drop a comment what one thing you're going to be doing in 2026 to make your life easier. And I will see you on the next episode. Take care.